Leather jackets. Proof of a wild one. Let's put the baddest on trial to see who's best. All rise for the Alpinestars missile. Italian, race fit, perforated, non-perforated. Claims to be the safest way to spend $800. Exhibit A, yellow zippers, Velcro patches. In the astrology of Alpinestars, that foreshadows tech air. No external sensors, no tethers, just mate and inflate. A kindergartner could install these, presuming they had a $1,500 allowance to buy one. The defendant has LED status lights on the left forearm. So if you fear for your back, chest, shoulders, kidneys while riding, look down, see that the airbag is armed, and relax. Objection. What if I want a simpler airbag solution from Heroico? Or maybe I don't want an airbag just yet. Is the missile otherwise ultra safe? Evidence indicates so. I have full DFS on shoulder and elbow, and that's a hard shell encasing dual density foam, so essentially a mini helmet for all your pointy bits, and far superior to the usual pad in a pocket. Which the missile does have in the back protector. A foamy placeholder for the nucleon, which snaps in here, or of course the tech airbag, which is housed inside a CE2 back protector. Everything else is just 1.3mm leather, which has been safe enough since God made cows. Side effects of an ultra-safe jacket include extra stretch material at the front and back of the neck to allow for airbag expansion, making this track jacket more forgiving as a daily rider. Other side effects include wrist straps. In theory, this helps the jacket pass ECE pull-off tests, but in reality, well, nobody rides barehanded, so gauntlet gloves would be equally effective at the same task if I could comfortably cinch them over the cuffs of this jacket, which of course I now can't because of the bulky wrist straps. Bureaucracy, idiocracy. At 6'3", 39-inch chest, I'm a size 50. But with the airbag underneath and no leather pants to zip my jacket down, it rides up and pushes the speed hump into the back of my helmet. I sized up to a 52, and that turned the problem into perfection. Totally comfy enough to use the missile around town, presuming you're quasi-comfortable with looking like Quasimodo. Case 02, Fieldsheer Supersport Air. Alleged alternative to the missile for less than half the price. Anecdotal evidence agrees, and this is one of 2018's biggest sellers. Right? Because Fieldsheer has any semblance of brand notoriety, people are just smart and put out a solid product at a fraction of the price, they find it. What people are seeing is the same 1.3mm cowhide in a track cut. Similar hard parts on the shoulder, identical CE2 ratings on the pointy bits. Now obviously there's no airbag option and the back pad is still a joke by design. You're supposed to laugh at this and install something real, just like on the missile. Our Supersport even has an excess of stretch fabric. Unusual amounts underarm and behind elbow. So again, like the missile, this is a track bomber you can also wear on the daily. And it's finished a la A-Stars. Neoprene on the collar and the cuffs, waterproof pocket, and all the zippers that you use before gloves are these nice little auto-locking YKKs. And then anything I typically need to find through leather, I have a big pull tab. These clever touches, and they're as true here as they were on the premium jacket. Case in point, the zipper line is set back from the leather cut, and that ensures that your zipper isn't going to constitute a tearing point, and more importantly, that the creator is not skimping on leather. There, I rest my litmus test for quality craftsmanship. What we have here is almost equal to the $800 jacket for $350. Still profit enough to throw in a thermal liner. It's sticky when wet and only 100 gram insulation, which qualifies as manslaughter in Canada, but that's about the most you can cram inside a sport fit anyway. On sizing, I plead the fifth. Ordered a large, came stickered as extra large, fits like a medium. I have no advice to give you. Just make sure you get free returns. Next on the docket, Rev'It Ignition 3 makes case for being the only 3-season option. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, cows are not ventilated. And they're only kinda waterproof. So all-weather leather has been a tough thing to rhyme, figuratively speaking. Rev'It's the only one to do it well. Their trick is Dynax, an extremely tight wound material that appears consistent with leather at first glance. But it's actually mesh, meaning it breathes and it doesn't weigh 500 pounds when it gets wet. And because Dynax has such a dense thread count, it still slides better than most textiles. What we have is a jacket with almost the look and safety of leather and almost the technicality of textile, including, of course, the waterproof liner and thermal vest. I've been consistently impressed with Rev'It Waterproof. Since moving to Vancouver, they've seen more use than any of my Alpinestars, Dainese, or Icon stuff. I'd trust this jacket into spring or fall, no problem. Ventilation is more uncertain. Because Dynax is so dense, the Ignition 2 it didn't breathe all that well. Rev'It swapped one of the leather underarm panels for mesh, and that made a huge difference. And the Ignition 3 now feels like a proper mesh jacket on hot days. If you called this fit slim and precise, I'd allow it. Your CE2 elbow pads are sewn to the shell of the jacket so as not to move around. The shoulder pads are equally tight and the back pad is non-existent. This minimal fit tries hard to justify minimal pocketing. I have 3 that will get wet and only 1 that stays dry. Not cool for a touring jacket. I also object to the size of this logo. If you're going to use my ass to sell your brand, I expect to be paid $700, not the other way around. In closing, I call 2 style symbols to the stand. Black Brand's Carry On and Rev'It's Fargo, both of which look and do something unique. The Carry On looks ancient. Black Brand calls this distressed, I call it severe anxiety disorder. It's damn near gray from all the rough treatment. But the leather is unique and it feels more supple than anything we've seen. As for what it does, the whole jacket rolls up and straps itself to your motorcycle. Because let's face it, some of us think motorcycling should be dangerous. Some of us like to ride in t-shirts when it's hot and would value having a jacket along when it's not, especially one with a full thermal liner. On any other jacket, I'd lament having big metal buckles over my kidneys. I'd fear pissing blood for a week. I'd wonder why all the armor pockets are empty and why this conceal and carry pocket puts a big hunk of Canadian firepower right in my gut. But on a jacket whose party trick is not being worn, well, safety stuff seems immaterial. If the carry-on is a good buy at $450, how can I buy the Fargo beyond a reasonable doubt at $750? In terms of style, this is the butteriest cow I've felt since Paula Deen's beef stroganoff. It puts even the Black Brand to shame. And in terms of party tricks, C-Smart. Rev'It has won international design awards for their armor, and they deserve it. And CE level 1, but as thin and as flexible as the leather itself. This is probably twice as thin, twice as flexible, twice as light as any pad you've worn. Which is especially relevant when you're buying for style. Only with C-Smart can a motorcycle garment truly pass as a regular fashion jacket, the whole jacket, and nothing but the jacket. Everything else is uninteresting. The Korda denim and perforated accents are kinda cool, the non-removable liner is kinda warm, the cuffs are kinda baggy for fitting under gloves, and the neck is kinda tight for 71% of Americans. But none of that matters, because the Fargo is a jacket for beautiful people in civilized temperatures. And that's it. Safest, all weather, cool style. Now we, the jury, have found these leathers not to be guilty pleasures, but legitimately wise buys. Thanks.